Hey, it's Vaughan from Your Career Mastery. One of my best tips for succeeding in job interviews is all about asking great questions. So for most job interviews, it's pretty common that you'll come prepared to answer questions that they might have. So behavior-based questions like, tell me about yourself, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses, tell me about a time you had a challenging situation or a conflict and how you resolved it. But equally as important as preparing to answer questions is preparing to ask great questions to the recruiter or the hiring manager that's going to be interviewing you for this specific role. So firstly, why do you want to come prepared with great questions? Well, firstly, it shows you're engaged. It shows that you're thoughtful and that you're interested in this particular role. I can't tell you how much value there is in terms of differentiating yourself and positioning yourself as a great candidate. It's all about showing interest and enthusiasm for the role and the particular company that is interviewing you. But not only showing interest and engagement, coming prepared with great questions also helps build rapport with the interviewer. It makes it more of a two-way conversation and really positions you as someone who's really taking consideration about the role and they're really thinking about it to make sure that the role is a good fit for them or a good fit for you, which is really something that a high-quality candidate would do. A high-quality candidate wouldn't just say yes to the first role that comes around. They would want to do their due diligence to make sure that this next role is a great fit for them, and asking questions is a great way to do that. But more than just showing enthusiasm and positioning yourself as a great candidate, it also just is important to gather information about the role. So you want to ask questions to find out what the company's like, more about the team that you're going to be stepping into, and what kind of projects you're going to be working on, because that will genuinely help you make a decision about whether or not this company and this particular role is in fact a good fit for you. And of course, your next question might be, well, what questions do I actually ask in the job interview? Well, this is the easy part, because there's a ton of great questions that you can ask, and you can have these up your sleeve, ready to ask in pretty much any job interview that you go for. And these are things as basic as, what would a typical day look like? What would success look like in this particular role? What kinds of projects are you going to be working on? And what kind of stakeholders will you be working with? Tell me more about the team that I'm going to be working with directly, like my immediate team. Tell me more about the projects that I'm going to be working on and contributing to. And are there some other broader business priorities that I should know about stepping into this particular role? Now, these are great questions and they're easy to ask, and that's my favorite part. They help build rapport and they do help build a conversation around the particular job that you're going for, gives you some great context on the business and the role that you're stepping into, and also helps keep the dialogue and that conversation flowing during the job interview. In fact, here's a cool little trick. So one of my favorite questions to ask that I mentioned before in the video was, what would success look like in this particular role? That's a great question to ask. And in many cases, when I've asked that question, the job interviewer will then pretty much put on a silver platter the exact criteria of the kind of person that they're looking for. So you might say, well, what would success look like in this role? And they would say, we're looking for someone that can really step in, who's great with working with stakeholders, that is a real taskmaster, that is independent, and is really good at navigating ambiguity. So they can lay out those like 4 or 5 values for you. Then you have the opportunity to say, that sounds great. And I actually think with my personal set of experiences, I've really had a lot of experience working with navigating ambiguity in my previous role. For example, this situation, and being a taskmaster and working independently, that was something I really mastered in a previous role where I was required to work away from the team on certain projects, or maybe work in the field or work off-site, whatever it is. You have a position to directly position your skills and experience as being a great fit for the exact criteria that they mentioned that they are looking for that role. So that's a great, easy question to ask, good conversation starter, but also gives you a little in to help position your skills and experience in a really tangible way for that particular role. Hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, feel free to like the video and also hit subscribe. More videos coming out every week. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.